Hello, everyone, and welcome you all to the first chapter of the Adobe Photoshop t-shirt design tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 1, and here I'll be showing you guys t-shirt design with basic text. Okay, so here in this chapter, I'll be showing you guys the t-shirt design with some basic text, how you'll be able to do that, how to change on fonts, okay, how to select different kind of fonts over here and what are the different things which you guys will be able to do right over here as well. We'll be learning about all of that in detail here in this particular chapter. So let's not waste time and let's get started. So here, as you guys can see, now I'm here in the home page of the Adobe Photoshop. So here, as you guys can see, now this is basically the home page of the Adobe Illustrator. Okay, so from here, you will be able to create up a new file. And from here, you will be opening up a new document if you have worked in any. Okay, so if anyone have shared a file with you, in that case, you will be able to see those shared files from here. And basically, if you have saved any files, you guys will be able to save from here as well. And basically from here, you guys will be able to see all the recent files which you guys worked on. So from here, you guys will be able to see all of these here as well. Okay, so let's go and let's try to create a new file first. Okay, so here, as you guys can see, there are different presets of sizes which you guys can see from here, and you guys can check those things out. And basically from here, you guys can select any kind of page you want. So downside of those pages here, you guys can see the sizes and also the PPI, which is basically the resolution. Okay, so you guys can see the resolution from here as well. So the first thing what I'm going to do is I will just rename it. Okay, so I will rename it as basic text t-shirt. Okay, so I will just type basic text t-shirt over here. And now the next thing is I have to choose like what kind of workspace do I want to select? Okay, what is going to be the width and the height, and what is going to be the pixels? Do I want it in inches or in anything else? So I will select the unit accordingly over here. And after that comes here the orientation. Do I want it in portrait or do I want it in landscape mode? Do I want to add any artboard in that or not? Okay. And also from here, I will be able to select the resolution, and there are the color mode. I can choose the RGB color mode, CMYK, lap color, or the grayscale. So for me, I'll just keep the RGB color right now, which is red, green, and blue. 16-bit is fine. I want a white background over here. Okay, you can select different color background here as well. If you want to customize this one, you guys will be able to customize the background color from here as well. Once I'm done, come here and click on create. Okay, and once I have clicked on create, here you guys can actually see now I do have this particular page right over here. Okay, so on my left hand side, you guys can see these are basically the toolbar. Okay, so here I do have all the tools which I'm going to use while I work over here. Okay, and this is the layer panel. Okay, so I will just come here. Maybe I'll just increase the size of the layer panel a bit. So the first thing what you're going to do over here is you're going to take up a solid layer. Okay, so for taking a solid layer, you go to this option which is down there, create new fill or adjustment layer, and just go on top where you do have the solid color option. And let me just take some dark color. Okay, so let me just take this color right over here and let me click on OK. So here you guys can see right now I do have a solid color right over here. Okay, so in that case, the next thing what I'll do is, so now once I am over here, right now I am going to create up a new layer. Okay, I need to make sure that I have selected this one, and now I'll click on new layer. So here you guys can see now I do have created a new layer right over here. Okay, so as I do have a new layer, I need to make sure that I am on my new layer right now. And from here, what I'm going to do is I am going to just right click on this T icon. Okay, so T is basically the type tool. And from here, I will take the horizontal type tool. Okay, So now I am going to write something over here. Okay. So I will write failure is the pillar of success. Okay. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I am going to put on my type tool. So I'll just click here once. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to click on backspace. Okay. And now I'll start typing. Okay. So let me just use the caps over here. So let me just write failure. Okay, so I will just write failure over here. And once I'm done writing this one, what I'm going to do is I am going to come here and maybe I will just put this thing here in the center. Okay, so I will just put this thing here in the center. So let me just put it here somewhere over here. Okay, I will align it later. Okay, so for now, I'll just keep this thing right over here. And if I do want to change its color, okay, so I will also be able to change its color from here. So again, select the type tool, and with this one, maybe select this. And now what you can do is you can choose what kind of font do you want to use. Okay, so there are a lot of fonts which you guys can use from here. Let's select whichever looks good. Okay, so let's select this one, or let's select this. Okay, so I'll select this one and let's take up a different color. Okay, so I will come to this point from here, and now let me just take up some different color, or let me just keep this thing in basic white. Okay, so I will come here, I will just click on OK, and at this time I'm done with this one. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to duplicate this layer. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to duplicate this layer. So for that, I will just click on Alt when I do have selected that particular layer, and I'll just drag and uh, drop this thing down. Okay, so I'll come onto this one, and what I can do is select your type tool again. Okay, so I'll just select the type tool from here. Okay, I will just select the type tool. Maybe I'll come here, and now I will type my things down. Okay, so I will just type things down. I will just write is the, okay, is the, and now again the same way I will come here, select this layer, click on Alt. Okay, you guys can see now I do have two cursors. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my type tool again. Okay, so let's select the type tool from here. Okay, and I will just keep this thing right over here. Let's just go and delete this one. Okay, and now failure is the pillar of, I will just write pillar of. And lastly, I will again come here, select the selection tool, click on Alt and just bring it down. Okay, so I will just select this layer, come here and just bring it down. Okay, and now I will come here and I will select my type tool again. Okay, so let's go back. Like I will select Control D to deselect. Okay, and take my type tool. Okay, so I will just take the type tool from here, maybe keep it somewhere here. Okay, and now I will just type success. Okay, so I will just type success over here. So here, as you guys can see now, I am done here with my text. Okay, so what I can do is if I want to make sure that, okay, so I'll just keep this thing here in the center again. So what I want to do is over here, I have just selected this text around. But what I want to do is I want to just play around with the size of this text and each and everything right over here. In that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. Okay, and I'm going to click on Control R. Okay, so once I've clicked on Control R, as you guys can see, now I do have rulers over here. Okay, so as you guys can see, I do have these rulers. So using this ruler, what I can do is I can just select this ruler from here, and maybe I will just put these things accordingly. So let me just bring this thing quite right over here. Okay, so let me put one ruler over here and another one. What I'll do is I will come here and I will just put another one right over here. Okay, so on this side. So I need to make sure that whatever design I am going to make, I will make it somewhere right here. Okay, so I need to make sure that I do select the text and I type. Okay, so it will be right over here. Okay, so let's come to the first test over here again. And now using shift, what I'm going to do is I am going to increase the size. Okay, so I'll just click on shift and now I am going to increase the size of this one to this particular line. So I need to make sure that I am aligning those things properly. Okay. So now if I do want to bring it down a little bit, I will click on the page down button from my keyboard. Okay. So now again, I will come to the second one. So after that, what I'm going to do is I am going to increase the size of this text from here as well. Okay. So now I will just bring it over here. I need to make sure I do have my lining. Okay, so I will just come here and I will also join this right over here. Okay, so now here you guys can see if I want to bring this thing kind of on top over here, I will use my page up button. And after that, again, I will come here and with this tool, I'll select this one and maybe I will just bring it on top a little bit as well. Okay, so I will just bring those letters on top a bit as well. Well, make sure that this particular spacing between the lines, it totally depends on you how you want to put that. Okay, so whatever looks good to your eye, you guys can actually put those things. And now I will also increase the size from this end. So let's increase the size from here, and also from this side I will increase the size. Okay, and now I will just put the thing here on top. Okay, so I will just go page up option, page up again. Okay, so here you guys can see now I do have this particular text right over here. Okay, so as you guys can see, I am kind of done over here. Okay, so I have just worked with the text around. So the next thing what you're going to do is you are going to put on some lines. Okay, so if you want to do some things kind of like that, in that case I will come here and what I'll do is let's select all this with control. Okay, so let's select all these layers first. So let's select it over here. Let's come to this option. So from here, as you guys can see, I have selected all these layers. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to align it. Okay, so I'm going to align it in the horizontal center. And also I'm going to align it over here. Okay, like if I want to align it over here, align to the top edges, okay, or here in the bottom, I can also do that. So once you're done, what you can do is you guys can come over here. Okay, so come here and maybe just decrease the time or decrease its spacing a little bit. So come here on this end and again readjust it over here. Okay, so now it lets me keep a good note of this particular place. And after that, the next thing what I'm going to do is I am going to merge this thing down. Okay, so in that case what will happen is now once I have aligned all of this, okay, now I will merge all of this layer. Okay, so I will just deselect this one or I'll select this one and with shift I will select all of this right over here. Okay, so once I have done this one, now I will just merge it accordingly. Okay, so I will just click on Control E from my keyboard and here you guys can see now I have merged this one, and what I can do is I can now increase its size accordingly. Okay, so for that I will just click on Control T to transform, and now I will just increase its size. Okay, so as you guys can see, if I want to increase its size kind of like this, I will be able to increase its size quite like this from here as well. So I need to make sure that I choose the particular size, and I will just click on OK over here. Okay, if I want to delete this one, okay, delete this layer, come here, click on delete. Okay, and now select this layer as well. Okay, and now click on delete option right over here. Okay, so once you're done, okay, what you can do is you can come here. I do have different shape tools. Okay, so if you just left click here, you guys can see I do have a line tool right over here. Okay, so what you're going to do is you need to make a line. Okay, so I will just change the color, something to white color. Okay, or maybe let's select a different color. Okay, so let's select this blue color from here and let's click on OK. And now I am going to create some lines. Okay, so using shift, I'll just create this line. So now I will, as I have selected this one, and now I can come here onto the stroke option. And from here, basically, I'll be able to change up the stroke color from here as well. Okay, suppose if I do want to use a red color, okay, I will be able to use up a red color. Just click on OK from here. And now if you want to increase the size, okay, you guys will be able to increase the size from here as well. Okay, so as you have selected this, right over here. Okay, and what I can do is I can just make some duplicates. Okay, so just click on to this option right over here. Just click on alt. Okay, and now just duplicate this one and just duplicate another one right over here and over here as well. Okay, so once I'm done, what I'm going to do is I am going to take this one. So the first one I'm going to take, and now I am going to give this thing up a rotation. Okay, so for that I will come here, and what I'll do is I will come onto this option, and now I will just give this thing a rotation quite like this. With my move tool again, what I'll do is I will just move this thing up. Okay, so as you guys can see, in the same way, if you want to just give this thing a rotation, so here you guys can see, this is how you guys will be able to give this thing some rotation. So let me just put this one right over here. Okay, so one, I'll just put it over here. Okay, and another one, let's select this one, like the copy. So again, what I'll do is I'll select this one, and now I will just give this thing a rotation. And what I can do is I can come here, and maybe I will also increase its size. Okay, so let's come over here and let's come to this rotation option. Just give this thing a rotation over here as well. And now just come here, and what you can also do is come here, give this things a rotation. Okay, so as you guys can see, I am just trying to make some different stages. Again, come here onto this one, and if you want to move it up, okay, come here, select this, and just give this thing a rotation. If you want to increase the size, you guys will be able to increase the size from here as well. Okay, come on to this option. Okay, go to this down part, and with the selection tool again, come here, select it. And what you guys can do is you guys can come here, and from here you guys can actually give this thing a rotation from here as well. Okay, so come here and just give this thing up a rotation. So once you're done with that, come here, select this other copy, and from here the same way, try to move this thing up first. And once you have moved this, you guys just give this thing a rotation. And once you have given this thing a rotation, come here, select this one, bring it somewhere over here. And now the lastly, do the same thing, select the selection tool, and from here select this particular part. And if you want to increase its size, you guys will be able to increase its size from here. But before that, I want to give this thing a rotation, so I'll just give this thing a rotation, and maybe I will just give this thing a cut somewhere over here. Okay, so let me just give a cut somewhere over here. Okay, so this kind of looks perfect. Okay, so here you guys can see in total here I do have five of this lines. Okay, so if I want to merge it, I will click on the shift option. I'll select all of this, then control E. Okay, so control E to merge. Okay, so here in my layer panel, as you guys can see, now I have merged all of this layer over here. Okay, so once I have merged, what I can do now is I will just right click on my mouse. Okay, and after right clicking here, you guys will be able to see I do have an option called the rasterize layer. Okay, so here I have just rasterized this particular layer which I do have over here. And what I'm going to do from here is after I have rasterized layer, I will just click on control and I will just select this particular layer. Okay, so I will just make sure that I click over here. And once I have clicked, here you guys can see all this part is being selected. Okay, so now here what I'm going to do is I am going to click the delete button. Okay, so once I have clicked on the delete option, now I will click on Control plus D. But before that, let me just show you how it actually looks right now. Okay, so here now I will just click on Control D to deselect. Okay, and now here as you guys can see, I don't have those effect yet. So again, what I'll do is I will just click on Control and I'll select it right over here. And after that, I will just click on my delete button. Okay, so I will just click onto the delete button over here. Now I will just select Control D to deselect. Okay, and I don't have this layer, but there is no effect on. So now as I am over here selected all of this, and I will come here onto this one, and now I will just click on to the delete option. Okay, so here as you guys can see, once I have selected the delete option, okay, so now if I just turn it off, so how it actually looks, the first thing I will just click on Control D to deselect. Okay, so here once I have clicked on Control D, okay, this is how it will actually look. So if I just turn this off, here you guys can see these are few lines over here which I have drawn. Okay, and here you guys can see those exact strokes. Okay, so this is how you guys will be able to make some design. So now I don't need this part, so I will delete this particular layer and I am left out with this one right over here. Okay, so let's just zoom in a little bit. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to color this thing up right now. Okay, so to do the coloring over here, what I'm going to do is I will come here, I will just go to uh, the options which I have over here. So as you guys can see, there are a lot of options which you guys can use, but the one which I am going to use is the magic wand tool. Okay, so now I will select the magic wand tool. Let's come here, and what I can do is I will just click on shift, and now I will select all the parts which I want to give color. Okay, so I will select this layer as well. And once I've selected it with my magic wand tool, I can come here and double click onto this option. And from here, now I will be able to give some different colors. I will just click on OK. And after that, I will click on Alt and Backspace. Okay, so once I click on Alt and Backspace, here you guys can see I do have this color right over here in this particular text. Now click on Control D to deselect. Okay, so the same way what I'll do is I will just color up this whole place over here. Okay, so now again I will just click on shift. Okay, I'll select this one, this one, this layer, this one, this over here, this particular part. Okay, and just come onto this option. I will just go back. I will come here, select this layer and this layer here as well. And what I can do is come here in the coloring option, and from the coloring option, maybe come here and let's select a different color. Okay, so let's come here, select a different color. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Alt and Backspace. And now here you guys can see I have clicked on Alt and Backspace right over here. And what I'm going to do is I will just click on Control D to deselect. Okay, so the same way, what I'll do is I will just complete this one. Okay, with control, I will just come here, click on shift. So with this layer, I'll select, I will just go back again. Maybe I'll just zoom in a little bit. Okay, and I'll just click on my magic wand tool again over here. Okay, just go back, step back over here. Okay, control D to deselect. Come here, select your magic wand tool. Maybe just move this thing a bit right over here. Select the magic wand tool from this option. Come here and now just click on a shift and put on colors over here accordingly. Okay, click here, select this layer as well, bring this thing a bit right over here, and now I will just select this as well. Okay, let's come onto this one. Let's select this over here. If you want to get this thing there on top a little bit, okay, I'll select shift, I will select this layer, and I'll also move it a bit from here this side, and also I will select this particular layer. Okay, so once I'm done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up some different colors. Okay, so let's come over here, let's take some blue color. So I'll just take some dark blue, alt and backspace, and here you guys can see this has changed the color quite over here. Okay, and now control D to deselect again. If I just zoom out, here you guys can see how it actually looks. Okay, so I'm going to put three more colors right over here, as you guys can see. Okay, so now again I will to follow the same thing. Okay, so I will just zoom in. Okay, make sure that you keep this thing here in the middle. Okay, so I will just zoom out a little bit again. Come here, select the magic wand tool, and with this one click on shift. Okay, select this layer and this one over here as well. This one, I will select this part, this one over here, this, this one, and lastly, I'll select this part and this part here as well. Now come here and select up a different color. Let me go on to something lighter. Okay, so I will just put some light color over here. Click on OK, and once you're done, Alt and Backspace to apply that color. Okay, and now control D to deselect. Okay, so again using shift, select here, select this part. Okay, this one here as well, here this particular part over here, and I will select this F part and this one here as well. Okay, so here once I am done, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some different colors for from here as well. Okay, so let's come down a little bit. Let's try to take some colors over here and click on OK. So once I'm done with this one, now again what I'll do is I will click on Alt and Backspace, and after that here you guys can see I do have this particular thing right over here. If I want to put up different colors, I will be able to put on different colors here as well. Control D to deselect. I will select this color, and what I'm going to do is, as you guys can see, I do have this eyedropper tool. So with eyedropper tool, I'll select this color and I'll just put it right over here, or this same color what I have put over here as well. What I can do is I can just give this thing a different color. Okay, so suppose if I just come here and maybe I will just give this thing kind of a different color. Alt and backspace, and here you guys can see control D to deselect this part. Lastly, I will select this part right over here. Okay, this is the left out part. So again, I will take my magic wand tool. Using the magic wand tool, click on shift, Okay, select this part, this one, and this whole part here as well. And I will go with some different colors. Okay, so come here again to the fill option. And from the fill option, what you can do is you come here and take some colors. Okay, so from here, I will take this color, click on OK, Alt plus backspace. Okay, Control D to deselect. So this is ready. As you guys can see, this is the t-shirt design which I have just prepared for you all. Okay, and here, yeah, these are some left out spaces. If you want to give this thing a different color, in that case, come here, select this part and this part here as well. Okay, and now just select up a different color. Let's come over here and let's choose some darker color, or come here, let's select this, click on OK, Alt plus backspace, and those parts are also being colored. Now what you can do is Control D to deselect. Okay, so as you guys can see now, here I am basically done. Okay, with this design, as you guys can see over here. Okay, so if you want to see it in a white background, this is how it looks. Okay, and here without any background, this is how my design kind of looks right now. Okay, and what you can do is you can also check how it looks. So you guys can see according to the t-shirt color. Okay, suppose if I do have a dark t-shirt color quite like this, it will look like this. If I do have a dark t-shirt quite like this, it will kind of look like that. Okay, I can come here. If you want to have a dark black color, here you guys can choose this one. Okay, so what you can do is you can click on Shift, Control, Alt, and S. Okay, so here, once you come over here, okay, save for web. Okay, you guys can move this up and you guys can check over here. Okay, like how this design actually looks. So here you guys can basically check the color and each and everything. And from here, what I can do is I can just save it in a PNG format, and I want a transparent background. Okay, so as you guys can see, I can have a transparent background. Okay, if you want to see it for preview. Okay, so this is the preview, how it will get saved. So now once you have did that one, you guys can come here, click on the done option and go to file. Okay, and from here go to save as, and from the save as option, I will just save it in into a PSD file. Okay, for right now. Okay, I will come here, I will go to my resource file. Right here, I will go to Photoshop, and from here, I will just click on save option. Okay, so here they will ask me for the compatibility. So I will just click on OK, and this file is saved. And again, Control Shift Alt and S. Okay, so here again, it will take me save for web. Okay, so now I can come here and I can just click on done option right over here. So this is the t-shirt design which I just did right now. So I hope you guys know how to actually make some stunning design with this basic text in Photoshop. So hope to see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye everyone. Hello everyone, and welcome you all to another chapter of the Adobe Photoshop t-shirt design tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 2, and here I'll be showing you guys how you'll be able to make one summer t-shirt design using the Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so we'll be learning about all of that here in this particular chapter. I'll be telling you guys how you can use the marquee tool to make your stunning designs, and how to delete and all, how to use your magic wand tool over here as well. We'll be learning about all of this in detail here in this particular chapter. So let's not waste time and let's get started. So here, as you guys can see, now I'm here in the home page of the Adobe Photoshop. So from here, the first thing what I'm going to do is I am going to come here onto the new file. And from here, first I will change the name of this thing to summer t-shirt design. Okay, so I will name this as the summer t-shirt design. And from here, basically, I'll also be able to change the width and the size of the page from here as well. Okay, So maybe I will just take this one as 1980, and over here I will take 1080. Okay, so I will take this orientation and let me get it in portrait. So the width is 1080 and the height is 1980 pixels over here. And I'll need to make sure that my resolution is 300 over here, and instead of this I will just choose the CMYK color mode. And for the background, I'll keep the background as white for now. Okay, so now what I'll do is I will come here onto this option, and what I'm going to do is I am going to create. Okay, so here once I have created, as you guys can see here on my screen, you guys can see this is the page which I do have over here. So to start off, okay, so the first thing I will do is I'll come here and I'll take a adjustment layer. Okay, so for me now I will take a solid adjustment layer, and I will give this thing somewhat uh, ash color, quite like this. And now I'll click on OK. So here, as you guys can see, now I do have this particular layer. So the next thing what I am going to do over here is I am going to take up a new layer. Okay, so for now I will just take up a new layer. So in that case, what I can do is I can come here and I can just click onto the layer option. So here you guys can see now I do have a layer right over here. Okay, so using this tool, which is called the marquee tool, I'll take the elliptical marquee tool and I'll just click on shift, that I am able to make a shape quite properly. So in that case, now as you guys can see, I am creating one elliptical shape right over here. So let's create the shape quite like this. Okay, so now if I want to just move it around, I will also be able to move it around from here as well. So let me click on OK. And what I can do now is if I just click here onto the delete option. So here again, as you guys can see, now I am able to move this around once I'm here in the fill box option. So I will just put this thing kind of right over here. And also what I can do is, as you guys can see, I do have this ruler. So maybe I will just create some lining over here. So I'll just keep this ruler over here as well. Okay, so let me just keep this ruler somewhere here, and from the sides as well, I will try to make sure that I do have my ruler here on the exact line. Okay, so I will just keep the ruler somewhere over here, one. Okay, and again I will take this ruler, I will just keep this thing here on this particular side. Again, what I'll do is I will just keep this thing and I will just put this right over here. Okay, so I will just come down again, and again here down as well. I will just come and I will just select this layer again. If I want to move it up, I will also be able to move it up over here as well. But for now, give this spacing right over here. Okay, so again, come, make sure you put it properly. So now, using this, what will happen is I will try to work here in the center. Okay, so I'll just keep my marquee over here as well. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I am going to click on Alt and backspace. Okay, so now over here onto my layer, Alt and backspace. Okay, so here you guys can see now this particular area, it became quite black. Okay, so what I can do is to deselect, I'll click on Control D to deselect. Okay, so as you guys can see now I have clicked on Control plus D to deselect. So the next thing again, what I'll do is I will come right over here. Okay, so let me just put it up here in the center. Okay, so now I will try to get this thing here in the exact center. So now this is basically in the center. Again, I'll take my marquee tool, but this time I will take my elliptical marquee tool. Okay, or the rectangular marquee tool. So now I will just create some shapes over here as you guys can see. So here, as you guys can see, now I have created this particular shape over here. If you want me to adjust it, you will be able to adjust it from here as well. And as I've selected this particular part, okay, so what I can do is I can just click on to delete option, and here you guys can see that particular part is being deleted. So the same way I will come down right over here, and now I will click on to the delete option again. Okay, so this part is also being deleted. So I will again come over here. Okay, and I'll just repeat of the same process. So let me just come over here. Let me just move it up. So I'll come down here again and now click on delete and move this thing up, go down a little bit, and from here click on to delete option. Same way, just come here down, and lastly, you can just give up one more spacing right over here as well. And now I will just delete this particular part. Okay. And to deselect, now you need to select Control plus D to deselect. Okay. So now here, as you guys can see, now there is a particular shape, and you guys can see I have just cut those unnecessary parts down. Okay, like I don't need those parts for now. Okay, so in that case, now what you will be able to do is you want to put up some colors to all of this. Okay, so there comes the magic wand tool. Okay, and you need to make sure that you are holding onto the shift. Okay, so now I will select this one. Let's come down, click on shift, and let's add both of this right over here. And what you can do is you can come here and you can just adjust the color. Okay, sometimes you might think that like from where I will get the colors. So for that, let's go to Chrome and let's see from where. So there is a uh, website called the Gradient. Okay, so I will go to that particular website called the Gradient. So from here, you guys will be able to get a lot of colors. Okay, so from here, there are a lot of things. So you guys can also come to this Gradient option. And basically from here, you guys can see what all color do you want to choose for your image. Okay, so here are different color combinations which you guys can use. Okay, so I will take this one and this one over here. So if I just want to copy this one, I will come here, Control C, I will copy, go to my Photoshop, and now I will just click on the fill option, come down, backspace. Okay, now Control V and click on enter. So here now if I want to apply this color which I do have here in fill, for that I need to click on alt and backspace, and here you guys can see that particular part is being colored properly. Okay, so the same way, if you just come over here, now again with Control D to deselect, and with Shift, click onto this one, come down a little bit, click on Shift, and here once I clicked on Shift with my magic wand tool, you guys can see I do have a plus sign on my wand tool over here. Okay, so again, once I select this part here as well. Okay, so this particular part is also being selected, like both of these are getting selected at the same time. So I'll just repeat the same process, go to the gradient. Now I want to use this yellow color. Take this color code, click on Ctrl C to copy, go to Photoshop, come here onto the fill option, come to this option at the last where you can put up your color code, Ctrl V to paste and click on OK. And after that, Alt and backspace to put up the color. Okay. So the same way now again what I'll do is I will come over here and click Ctrl D to deselect. Now I will select this layer and now just hold onto your shift and now select this layer as well. Go to this gradient option again, and from here suppose I want to take up some different color. Okay, suppose let me just take this color from here. So for that I will select this color code, Control C to copy. And now going back to the Photoshop, go to the fill option, come here down and put up the color code with Control V, click on OK, and now Alt and backspace to just copy. Control D to deselect. Lastly, I'll select this last one with my one tool, and now I will put up a different color. So in that case, what I can do is again I will just repeat the same process. So come back over here, choose which color you do want to take. So I will just take this color, okay, this pink color. So in that case I will copy this one, Control C to copy, going back to the Photoshop, coming back over here, backspace, Control V, click on enter. Now Alt and backspace to put up that color. Control D to deselect. Okay, so here as you guys can see, now you guys can see right here, I do have a great design with different colors. Okay, so basically you guys will be able to select different colors, what all color you do want to put over here. Okay, suppose if I do want to see it without the fill. Okay, so this is how it actually looks. And if I don't want to see the background here as well, this is how it looks only in this layer. Okay, so now here again what I'll do is I will come here and I will create a new layer. Okay, so once I've created that new layer, what I'll do is I'll just turn off this particular layer, layer number one. Okay, I can also name it according to myself. Okay, if you guys want to rename it accordingly, you guys will also be able to rename it according to yourself. Okay, so once I have this new layer, what I'm going to do is I am going to take out my shape tool. Okay, so from here I will be making up one circle. Okay, so basically what I'll do is I will just use those circle as a path. Okay, so now I will take up the circle right from here. So as you guys can see here, I do have my toolbar. So I'll just come underneath this one, and from here I will just right click, and from here I will take my ellipse tool. Okay, so once I do have my ellipse tool, if I want to create an ellipse quite well, in that case I will just click on shift, and with the proportion it will just create me one ellipse right over here. Okay, as you guys can see, you guys can actually increase the size of the ellipse quite like this. Okay, so here I have created this particular ellipse right over here. If I want to move it up, I will also be able to move it up right from here as well. Okay, so now once I have created this ellipse, what I can do is I can come here and now I can go to my text option, and I will just left click onto my text option and I'll have a drop down. So from here I will be selecting the horizontal type tool. Okay, so here as you guys can see, once I have selected this one here, once I get my type tool right over onto this particular path or the outline of this circle, here you guys can see I do have the option to write it down. Okay, so in that case what I can do now is I will just write from here, and I will just write beach makes me happy. Okay, so I have typed those things down. I will select this layer, and what I can do is I can come onto this option, and basically from here I will be able to choose the type of font do I want to use. Okay, so from here basically you guys will also be able to select the type of fonts which you prefer for yourself. You guys can check out from down as well. Okay, so let me get this one right from here, and if I want to decrease the size, okay, I will also be able to decrease the size. Let's take it to 18. Okay, so I'll just keep this thing somewhere in 18. And if I want to decrease the tracking, okay, so I will also be able to decrease the tracking from here as well. Okay, so here as you guys can see, I have decreased the tracking to an extent over here. Okay, so the next thing what I'm going to do is I have selected this part. Okay, if I want to expand it, I will also be able to expand this particular text layer. Okay, So here you guys can see now I do have only this particular text, and that's what I want. Okay. So again, what I'll do, I'll select this text option. I will select all these texts which are over here. And now I will give this text up a different color. Okay. So let's come to the white color option and let's click on OK over here. And I have selected the white color. Okay. So once you're done, you can click on to this transform option like commit. So now I don't need this layer basically. Okay. So I don't need this ellipse layer. So in that case, I will just select this ellipse right now and I can just delete the ellipse. Okay. So once you have deleted the ellipse, what you can do is you can just select this text option right from here. And what you can do is if you want to give this thing a rotation. Okay, so again, let's go back. And now if you want to give this thing a rotation, you guys will be able to give this thing a rotation right over here. Okay, so again, I will just on this layer. Okay, as you guys can see, now I do have this layer over here as well. And let's click on shift, and using shift, what I can do is I can just select this layer and now I can just make it quite big as well. Like the way I want to put it, I will be able to put it accordingly right over here. Okay. So now I will come onto this option. If I want to increase the size a little bit, I will also be able to increase the size of the letters from here as well. If you want to give this thing a rotation, okay, you guys will also be able to give this thing a rotation from here as well. Okay, so as you guys can see, now I will select this layer, this text layer, and also this layer right over here. And what I can do is I can just actually align it here in the center. And also I will just align it here in the vertical center. So now once I have aligned it here in the vertical center, maybe I'll just select only this layer, which is the layer number one. And now I will just bring it kind of down. Okay, so I will just bring it kind of down over here and move it onto the right side here as well. Okay, so here now if I just deselect each and everything, you guys can see how it basically looks. Okay, so again, if you want to select this part, if you want to decrease its size, you guys will be able to do that from here as well. Okay. So if you want to change the font color or anything right from here, you guys will be able to do that. But right now, this particular design kind of looks like this. And if I want to select this layer and this layer as well, okay, so let's just move it here on the right hand side. Okay, so let's move it right over here. As you guys can see, I have just moved it right over here. If I want to decrease the size, just hold up the shift. Okay, so just hold out the shift and you guys will be able to decrease its size here as well. Okay, and let me just place it up accordingly over onto this option as well. Okay, so now I will just deselect each and every part, and this is how it looks. And let me just give my ruler again over here. Let's give the ruler somewhere over here. Okay, yeah, now this looks quite great. Okay, so now the next thing what I want to do is I am done with this top part over here. So I want to give some writing over here as well. Okay, so in that case, what I can do is I can come here and now I can just decrease the size, okay? Or I can just put another text box right over here. So in that case, what you will be able to do is you guys come right over here, take a one new layer. Okay, so once you have taken that new layer, come here onto the text box option. And from here, what you can do is you can start typing. Okay, so you can start typing North Carolina. So I will just select this particular text for now. And what I can do is I can just decrease the size of the text down. Okay, so I will just decrease the size of the text down, and also I will be able to select up a different color. Okay, so if you want me to select up a different color right from here, if it's too dark, okay, I will select it and I'll just click on OK. And now what I'll do is I will just place this right over here in the center. Okay, so I will just make sure that I just put it right over here in the center. Now again, what I'll do is I will just deselect this part, and here you guys can see how it actually looks. But if I just take this and give this thing a different color, like something little bit much visible. Okay, so I will just take this color, click on OK right over here. Okay, now I will come here, I will take this one and I'll take my layer one altogether. Okay, I will just off my caps. Now I'll just deselect each and everything again. So now I will come here onto this option. Okay, this layer one, and this another option, which is the top text. So with my control, I'll select both of this, and what I can do is I will come right over here, and if I want to move it up anywhere, okay, I will be able to move it up from here as well. Take my selection tool. If I want to align it, I will be able to align it quite well over here as well. If I want to vertically align it, I will be able to do that. Okay, so now again I will come over here, maybe I'll just select a different layer. Okay, so this is how it's actually going to look right now. So now another thing what I'm going to do is I will just come here on top. Okay, so I will just come here on the top option, and what I'm going to do is I am going to take another layer. Okay, so I'll just take another new layer over here, and now onto this layer I am going to put up an image. Okay, so in that case I will come here onto the file option, okay, and just create a new file. Okay, so I will just open up a new file over here. So in that case, now here you guys can see now I do have a lot of things right around here. Okay, so now I will go to my resource file. So I do have the resource file here in the Photoshop. So here, as you guys can see, there are a lot of things from which I will be able to choose from. Okay, so let me just take this one and let me just open this thing up. Okay, so now what I can do is I can just click on Control and C. I will just click Control C, and now I will just click over here and I'll just paste it up. Okay, so as you guys can see, I have just pasted it up. If I want to put it right over here, I will also be able to put it right over here as well. Okay, as you guys can see. Okay, so what I can do is once I've selected this layer, and now I will just select this layer here with my control as well. Okay, so now I can come here and I can just click onto the option, which is, so from here, again, I will come and select this icon, which I do have here in my layer number 3. And what I can do is I will click on Control and I'll select onto this layer. So this layer is basically getting selected. Okay, so now again, I will come onto this layer number 1. And what I'll do is I will just click onto the delete option. Okay, so now I have just clicked onto the delete option right over here. If you want me to click over here again, you guys can see I have did that right over here. And now I will just click on Control D to deselect. Okay, so if I don't have this layer right now, this is how it actually looks. Okay, so this particular thing is now embedded. Okay, so what you can do is you can come here and you can just delete this layer. So as you guys can see, I have just deleted this layer, and now this is how my t-shirt design looks. Okay, so this is the summer t-shirt design. You guys will be able to make it quite easily. So now if you want to see it in a black color t-shirt, so in that case what I will do is I will come here, go to the fill color option. So from here now I will just take some dark uh, black color, and now I will just click on OK. So this is how it actually looks. So to save this thing up and give it a last check, you guys can click on Control Shift Alt and S from your keyboard. Okay, and now here you guys can see I do have this option right over here. My preset in which I am going to save up this file is going to be PNG24. Okay, and now here you guys can see the image size. Okay, if you want to move it up and see how it actually looks. Okay, so here you guys can basically see this is how it actually looks. Okay, and this is the quality of the image. If you want to zoom it out, okay, you guys will be able to zoom it out here as well. Okay, so now I will just save it up from here, and now I just want to save it here onto my desktop. So I will just save it here in my resource file under the Photoshop, and now I'll save it as the summer t-shirt design PNG. Okay, so this is the format. I do have images only, and now I will just save this file down right over here. Okay, at the same time, if you want to actually view it how it actually looks, come into this option, go to the desktop. Let's come to the resource file. Okay, so now let's go to Photoshop, and from here you guys can see this is the design which I just made over here. And suppose you want to actually make some changes later. Okay, so in that case, go to save as option. So come here and now save it in a PSD format in which you will be able to change it in Photoshop anytime you come. Okay, so now click onto the save option. You will have this kind of format over here. Okay, Photoshop format options. Okay, so I have just maximized the compatibility, and I'll just click on OK over here, and this file is being saved. Okay, so I hope you guys have understood this class on how you will be able to make a summer t-shirt design in the Adobe Photoshop. So see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye everyone. Hello everyone, and welcome you all to another chapter of the Adobe Photoshop t-shirt design tutorial. So now we are on a chapter number 3, and here I'll be showing you guys by designing an advanced Zazzle t-shirt design. Okay, so we'll be learning about that here in this particular chapter. I'll tell you how you can actually use different layers over here to make your work look quite better. Okay, we'll be learning about all of that in detail here in this particular chapter. So let's not waste time and let's get started. So here, as you guys can see, now I'm here in the home page of the Adobe Photoshop. So the first thing from here, again, what I'll do is I'll come here and to the new file option. And from here, what I'm going to do is I am going to make this orientation as the landscape. And I don't want any artboards over here yet. But what I'm going to do is I am going to change uh, or rename the file. Okay, so I will just name this one as the advanced Zazzle. Okay, so I will just write advanced Zazzle t-shirt design. Okay, so I will just name this one advanced Zazzle t-shirt design over here, and my resolution is fine. I'll use the CMYK color mode. I'll keep my background as a white color. Okay, so once I'm done, I will just click onto the create option. So here you guys can see now I do have this particular page in which I am going to work on. Okay. So the next thing what you're going to do over here is you will come onto this adjustment layer. Okay. And from the adjustment layer, you are going to select a solid color. Okay. So basically you guys can choose what kind of color you want to take. Let me take this particular color right over here, and let's click onto the OK button. Okay, and now here you guys can see now I do have a fill color on top of my background layer. Okay, So onto this one, now I will be creating another layer as well, where I will be starting on with my text. Okay. So now here, once I have this solid particular layer right over here, what I'm going to do is I am going to now create some text. Okay. So before that, I will take another layer. So once I am over onto this particular layer, what I can do is I can come over here and I can select my text tool, and I have selected the horizontal type tool right over here. So now I will just type right over here. Okay. So what I want to do is the font which I am going to use right now is the abstract groovy font. Okay. So if you don't have this particular font right over here, you guys can basically download it from net. Okay. And now I will just write make, and again, what I'll do is I will come here and I'll just click on the Alt option and I'll just come down. Okay. So I will just come down right over here and I will select this layer as well. Okay. So I will select the middle layer. So now if I do want to make any changes, okay. So in that case, I will also be able to make some changes over here as well. Okay. Suppose if I just select this part, and from here this text box, I will just delete this particular text box which I do have over here. Let me just delete it, and let's come over here and let's delete this text box here as well, and this one right over here as well. So now I will come onto this option. Okay, so I'll just come over here to the second one. Let me just move this thing out here in the middle. So what I want to do is first I will select what kind of size do I want. So now again, what I'll do is I will come here onto the first one, and now I will click on Control and T. Okay, so Control T to transform. So for that, now I will just click onto Shift again, and I'll just make this thing a little bit bigger, and I won't put up any rotation for now. And what I can do is I'll come to this option, which is right over here. If I want to move it up, I will move it up over here as well. Come to this one, and now I want to move this thing up. I can move this thing up here as well. Select the second one, and now just select the type tool again. And from here, now I will again type like make every step count. Okay, so that is the uh, word which I'm going to use. Now I will just click step, and what I'll do is if I want to select this tool over here, Control T, and I will increase the size from here with Shift. Okay, so I will click onto this one, and now I will just place this here. Okay, so with my selection tool over here, I will come, and now what I'm going to do is I will just move this thing out a little bit over here, and let me just delete this box which I do have over here. If I want to move it, I can also move this up with my page up and down option. So maybe I'll just move this up a little bit right over here. Okay, and again, what I'm going to do is if I want to increase the size, I will come here and I will try increasing the size quite like this. Okay, so I will come here and again select the text tool. So after selecting the text tool, what I'm going to do is I'll select this part, and now I will just delete this one again. Okay. So now again, I will start typing. So I will just type every, and what I can do is select the selection tool. If you want to decrease the size, you guys can come here and just decrease the size from here as well. Okay. So now just move it up quite over here. Now just decrease the size from this side here as well. And what I want to do is once I am done here with the text, what I'm going to do is I will come over here. Let's take this option and let's get it a bit down. Okay. So with my page down and up option, I will be able to move this up and down here as well. Okay. So I'll come to this option, and with my page down, I'll just move this down a little bit. And what I can do is I will just click on control, select this one, and select this background as well. And what I'm going to do is I am going to align it right over here in the middle. Okay, so now once I'm done, I will just deselect this part, come here, and now I will just come here, select my type tool again. So with my type tool, I will put this right over here, delete this particular text, and from here, I will start typing. Okay, so I will just type every, and now I will again select my selection tool, click on Control T to transform. Okay, if I want to increase the size, I will also be able to increase the size from here. Okay, again, I will just select the type tool, and I was supposed to write step. I just wrote every. Okay, so again, I will come here and I will type on the step. Okay, and now I will again move this thing up here on the top. Okay, so I'll just move this thing up here on the top, Control T to transform, and click on Shift, increase the size over here. Now just move it up accordingly. And now what you can do is, now using shift, select this one, click on control and shift this. And what you can do is click on this right option. So now this is just aligning this thing right over here. Now I'll just deselect all this. So I'll select this last one over here. And what I'm going to do is I am going to click on Alt. Okay. So I will just click on Alt and I'll just duplicate this layer. So I have duplicated this layer as well. Now go to the type tool option, select this one, and now delete this. Okay. And now I will start typing count. Okay. So now I have wrote down the count option. So again, the next thing what I'll do is I will just check out the spacing over here. I will select all of this with shift, and now according to the background, I will come and I will select the background over here as well. Okay. So I will just off the layer style over here. Let's select the first one. Let's come to this option using the shift. Come here, select control and just select this particular layer. I will cancel. Let's select this one. Let's select it with control itself. I will select this layer, and lastly, I'll select the background layer over here. Okay. So once I have selected all of this, what I can also do is I will just delete this one. So here, this is quite well aligned, as you guys can see. So if you want to move it up a bit, you guys can also move this thing up a bit here as well. So now as you guys can see, now this all are in one particular line. So come here on top with shift. Okay, and now you guys can click on control and E. Okay, so here as you guys can see, once I have clicked on control E, now if I just select it, now I will click on control T to transform. Suppose if I want to change uh, the spacing over here, so here you guys can see, now I am able to increase the size. So now once I'm done, I'll click on OK. So here you guys can see, now I do have this first layer right over here. Okay, so in this case, if I want to change the color, I will also be able to change the color. But now let's move on to this my Chrome over here. And from my Chrome here, you guys can see this is a website called the Adobe Color. So basically from here, you guys will be able to see a lot of colors right over here. Okay, so if you want to just check all these colors out, if you want to get those colors from here, if you want to go to the lab from here as well, you guys will be able to see all these color palettes. Okay, if you want to view all of it, you guys will be able to view all of it right over here. Okay, so if you want to select any color, you guys will be able to select any color right from here. Okay, so this was about like right now I don't have any color in my library, but here from the lab, if you want to check what are the trending colors right now, so to check out these things you guys can come here and check these colors. So here you guys can see these are the images, and on top here you guys can basically see the colors which are being used over here. Okay, so you guys will be able to use these colors if you or want to copy this layer. Okay, like copy this, all of this over here, you guys will be able to copy this from here as well. Suppose from here I do like this level of colors. Okay, so in that case what I can do is I can come here and I can just click onto this one. Suppose if I want to see all of it, I will come here and I will make sure that I check those out. And from here, if you want to create your own color palette, you guys will be able to create your own color palette here as well. Okay, so here you guys can see those images are made of this color. Okay, so let me just select this color right over here. So let's take up the first color. I have copied this one. Go to Photoshop, and what you can do is you can come here and now just come down, and what you can do is you can come here and just click on Control V and just click on enter. Okay, so here you guys can see now I do have changed this color. And now what I want to do is I want to actually duplicate the color or the duplicate this particular layer. So in that case, I need to make sure that I'm choosing this count layer. And now I'll just click on Control J. Okay, so once I have clicked on Control J, here I will just off this one, and let's come onto this option, and now let's give this thing a different color. Okay, so for that again I will come over here, I will copy this one. Okay, so I have copied. Now I will come to my Photoshop again. So from my Photoshop, go to the fill color option, come down from here, click on backspace, Control V, click on enter. Okay, so now I do have this particular color, and what I want to do is I just want to apply this color over here on this particular layer. So for that I need to come here, I need to go to the layer color overlay from here. Okay, so for that I will come here onto the color overlay option, and what I'm going to do is I will come here and now click on backspace, Control V. Okay, and just click on OK and OK from here as well. So here I will go to the count option. Okay, here as well. Now this one is in on top of this layer. So in that case, what I'll do is I will come here, double click onto this option. Okay, and now go to color overlay, and from here again I will come here onto the Chrome, click on copy, and now what I'll do is I'll come over here, and now I will just double click, backspace, Control V, and now click on OK. So I will just click OK first over here and OK over here as well. Okay, so as you guys can see, now I do have two layers right over here. Okay, if I just off this layer, I am able to see this top layer over here. Okay, so now I do have two layers right over here, and what I'm going to do is I am going to make another layer from here as well. Okay, so for that again what I'll do is I will click on Control and J. Okay, so once I've clicked on Control J, I will come here onto the Chrome option, and from the Chrome option I will just copy this one. Okay, so once I've copied, I will come to this Photoshop again, double click to go to the layer panel. So I will just double click it over here. This is the layer style. Go to color overlay, double click over here, and now I will just click on Control V. Okay, so once I'm done with Control V, I will just click on OK from here as well, and I'll just click OK over here onto this option as well. Okay, so now as you guys can see right now, I do have two or three layers right over here. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to make some effects. So for that, what I'll do is I'll select the second option and the last option over here. And what I'm going to do is I am going to just move this a little bit. Okay, so I'll just move this three step, and now I will just move this down a little bit over here as well. Okay, so now this gives a better look, as you guys can see. Okay, so right now this one looks quite better. So what you can do is once you are done, you can just deselect it again. Okay, suppose if I want to deselect this top part over here, I will deselect this top part right over here. Okay, and as I do have selected all of this, the next thing what I will do over here is I will come onto this option and I'll select the pen tool. Okay, so as you guys can see, I have just selected the pen tool from here. And what I'm going to do is I am going to make some marks over here. As you guys can see, let's create some right over here. And after that, I will come over here, and what I'm going to do is I will select this layer, and from here as well, now I will just select this layer and I will just join it from here. Okay, so once I have done this particular part, I will click on make selection, and I will just keep the feather radius as 0, and I will just click onto the OK option. So here you guys can see now I do have this particular part right over here. And what I want to do is I want to click onto the delete option. Okay, so as you guys can see, I have clicked onto the delete option right over here. So now once I'm done here with Control D, I can just deselect. So here you guys can basically see how it actually looks. And again, what I can do is I will just turn off this layer. If I turn off this layer, here you guys can see, okay, how it actually looks right now. So what I can do is I will just select this layer, and I just want to move this layer a little bit here on the down as well. Okay, so I'll just move this down a little bit over here as well. So now I have done this particular part right over here. And what I'm going to do is again, I will take my pen tool. Okay, and with my pen tool, I am going to make some places right over here. And I'll just make some space over here as well. Okay, and now I will just select this part, and what I'm going to do is now I am going to make a selection. Right click, go to make selection option, click on OK, and what you can do is click onto the delete option from here. I will just come here on top. I will just select the delete option from here, Control D to deselect. Okay, so here as you guys can see, this is how it's going to look. Okay, so the design, the way I was making this thing up, so this is how it will look right now. So now over here, what I can basically do is I will come over here onto this option. And what I will do is I want to make some designs right over here. As you guys can see here, I do have this text. Okay, so now I will just merge both of these first. And with control, I will select this one, and now click on Control plus E. Okay, so I have just merged this one, and after that what I want to do is I will come here, and now I want to actually change or make a new layer. So I'll come here, click onto the layer, new layer. So here I will come under this option, and from here what I want to do is I want to just fill it up with some black color. Okay, so I'll just click on OK, and now I will just go to my brush tool. Okay, so if you guys can see, I do have my brush tool right over here, and first off I will just decrease my brush size, and after that I will come here, and now I will just go with the hard round shape, and I will just click on OK over here. And what I'm going to do is now I will come here. Let me just zoom in a little bit. Here you guys can see there are some places. Okay, so I will just fill those places out accordingly. Okay, and here as well I'll just fill it up, and here as well, I do have to fill this thing up over here. Okay, if you do want to fill it up, let's just put this thing there on top as well. If I come here, if I do want to put it on top, I will also be able to do that from here. But this one is just for this particular layer. So let me just move this thing up a little bit. So I'll just move it up right over here. Let me just come down. If I do want to put up anywhere else, I will also be able to do that. Okay, so now let's come to this layer again. And underneath this layer, suppose from here, what I want to do is I want to create up a new layer. Okay, so in that case, now I will come here, click onto the new layer option. And now I do have a new layer right over here. Let me just change this color to a white color and let's click on OK. So from here, now I will be able to fill these places with some white color. Okay. So now you need to make sure that you don't go out. So I will come here. Let's take this one. Let's come over here. Let's just zoom out a little bit. And I will come onto this layer over here as well. And I will fill this up with some white colors right over here. Okay. So now I hope you guys have understood this class on how you will be able to make some stunning designs using all these tools which I have showed you in this particular chapter. So here once I'm done, okay, so here you guys can see. Now I'll just go to the solid color page, and from here if I want to make it darker, I can make it darker and I can just click on OK. So now here it looks better. So now I will just click on Control plus Shift Alt and S. Okay, so now once I click over here, here you guys can just check out your work which you have done. If you want to zoom out, you guys can zoom out and see the whole work right over here. Okay, basically you guys will be able to save it the way you want. So I'll just click onto the save option right over here, and now I will go to this PC. I will go to the OS file. Otherwise, what I can do is I can come here onto the desktop option. From the desktop option, I will go onto the resource file. From the resource file, I will go to Photoshop and I will just click on save over here. Okay, so this file is being saved right over here. And if I do want to make any changes later, so for that, I will come and now I'll save this as a PSD file. Okay, so I will come here, go to Photoshop. Okay, so I will come here to the Photoshop option, and from here I will save this Zazzle t-shirt design file as well. So I'll click on to save option and I'll just click on OK. So here this file is being saved. So I hope you guys have understood this class on how you'll be able to make an advanced Zazzle t-shirt design. Take care everyone. See you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye. Hello everyone, and welcome you all to another chapter of the Adobe Photoshop t-shirt design. So now we are on our chapter number 4, and here I'll be showing you guys how you'll be able to design a logo t-shirt in Photoshop. Okay, so we'll be learning about that here in this particular chapter. I'll tell you guys how you can actually create logo using different styles. So let's not waste time and let's get started. So here, as you guys can see, now I'm here in the home page of the Adobe Photoshop. So the first thing I will come here, I will click onto new file and I will name this one as the logo t-shirt design. Okay, so I will just click logo t-shirt design. Okay, and after that, here you guys can see this is the width and the height, and this is the orientation. For me, I will take a orientation of landscape. I don't want any artboard over here, and I'll take a resolution of 300. The color mode is going to be CMYK color, and I'll also do have a white background in my new document. Okay, so now I will just click onto the create option. So here, once I click onto the create option, here you guys can see now here I do have a new page. Okay, so once you're over here, the first of all, you need to create this particular logo. Okay, so create a logo. In that case, first I will select the text tool. Okay, so here, once I have selected the horizontal type tool, I will come here and I'll click onto this option. And basically, I need to select what kind of font do I want to use. Okay, so let me just select what kind of font do I want to use over here. Let's take this font and now I will just type things out. So let me just make a logo for HSPB. Okay. And once I have selected this particular layer, I'll come over here. If I want to increase the size, I'll click on Control T to transform. And now I'll just click on Shift and I will just increase its size from here. Okay, so here I have just increased the size of this letter. And now come to this option, right click and just go to rasterize type. Okay, so I have just rasterized this particular uh, text layer over here. So once you're done with this one, come to this option, and from here what you can also do is, if you come to this option, if you want to actually convert it to a smart object, you guys will also be able to convert this particular thing to a smart object. Okay, so here you guys can see I do have all these options right over here. So now again, I will select this type layer. As you guys can see, I have selected this particular type layer. And from here, as you guys can see, I do have a marquee tool over here. Okay, so it makes a selection. So for me, what I want to do is I want to select the first word from here through which I will manipulate. Okay, so in that case, I will come here, I will select it with the marquee tool. And what I can do is I can just make up a selection from here. Okay, so only the first word I will select. And as you guys can see, now this is being selected, as you guys can see. So now I will just right click on my mouse. Okay, so there is another option called layer via cut. Okay, so here you guys can see I have created another layer. So now if I just want to move this particular thing around, I will be able to just move this particular thing around over here. If I want to increase the size a little bit, okay, I will also be able to increase the size only of this particular thing right over here. Okay, so I will just keep this particular layer right over here. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to take up my pen tool. Okay, so I will just take up my pen tool and now I will try to create some designs over here. Okay, so now I will try to create some leaf-like structure. So now if you want me to make some leaf-like structure, let's come to this option. So let's come over here. Let's select this one. Then now, if you want to go back again, and here, if you want me to change anything anywhere over here, I will also be able to change this layer accordingly. Okay, so now here you guys can see how you will be able to make some designs. Suppose I want to make some design quite like this. And now once I have selected this layer, and if I want to go back anytime, so from the first place as well, you guys can also go down. So now let's come to this point again. Okay, so here you guys can see I can just get some designs quite like this. Suppose I want to create a design kind of like this. Okay, so I will just make some designs quite like this, and now I will just make one shape right over here. Okay, but here, what I want to do is I want to make it a shape. So again, for that one, I will come here And now I will try to select some shapes. Otherwise, if you want me to go back, I can also come here and I can also go back accordingly. Okay, so suppose if I come here and if I just choose a shape, okay, I will also be able to choose some shapes accordingly. Okay, so I will just go back here again, come here in the shape option. So now let's try to create some shape from here. Okay, so now once I am over here, if I come to this point, suppose I want to make some shapes quite like this, and now I will come down here and I want to keep the shape quite like this. Okay, so once I have created this kind of shape right over here, what I can do is I can just click on enter option, and here basically you guys can see I do have this particular shape. And if I want to change anything, okay, so convert point tool over here. And using this one here, if I just zoom in, here you guys can see I do have a lot of points out over here. So what I can do is I can come here if I want to just give this thing a rotation or anything as such. In that case, I will be able to select those paths and I will be able to move those paths around. Okay, so here you guys can see I am making a headphone like structure over here, as you guys can see. And once I'm done, okay, so here are the heads. Okay, so you guys can also work with those particular heads right over here. Okay, so basically if you want to change any part or any position over here, you guys can come and just make some changes accordingly. So once you are done, you guys can come here and you guys can just click onto the enter option. So now I will just select the selection tool, and if I do want to give this thing a rotation, okay, I will be able to give this thing a rotation over here as well. Okay, so now once you have positioned it properly, what you can do is you can come here, first click onto this option, and what you can do is now you guys can come over here, take the quick selection tool. Okay, so here you guys do have the quick selection tool, and from here basically you guys will be able to select this only layer. Okay, so if I just go back, take my selection tool, and now I will just click on the quick selection tool. So I have just selected this layer. What I can do is I can just put this layer quite right over here. Okay, so I will just put this particular layer right over here. And now what I can do is I can do onto this option right over here on the top. Okay, so for me the first thing I will go to select. Okay, and from here you guys can go to modify, and from modify you guys can go to this expand option. Okay, so now what I can do is if I just give up 12, and if I just click on OK, so here you guys can see now I have expanded this part over here as well. Okay, so now once you are done over here, what you want to do is you want to cut this particular part. Okay, so in that case, what will happen is you go to this layer number one and just click on the delete option. Okay, so now I will click on Control plus D to deselect. And here, if I just zoom out, this is how it actually looks right now. Okay, so if I just deselect, this particular part kind of looks like this. So this is basically the logo. If you want to change the color, suppose you want to change the color of this particular thing, so you guys can come here and basically choose the color. Otherwise, once you come here, from here, you guys can just click onto this option. Okay, and from here you guys will be able to select colors accordingly. Okay, so you guys will be able to select colors, click on OK. And if you want to change the color of all these other layers as well, you guys can come here and you guys will be able to add a lot of colors. Okay, so let's come to this layer and let's double click onto this one. Otherwise, let's come here. Let's go to the color overlay settings. Okay. And from here, let's come onto this option and select what kind of color do I want to use. Click OK. OK from here as well. Okay. So now here you guys can see. Now, if I just come here onto the shape layer again, okay, if I want to change anything, okay, so in that case also I can just double click over here. Otherwise, just cancel this part. Okay, if I want to go and see the blending options, okay, I can come here and go to the blending options. So from here, basically, I will also be able to check the stroke. So if I don't want any stroke, I can come here and I can just give no stroke here as well. Okay, I can just click OK, and I will just click on OK over here. And if you want to change the mode, okay, so basically from here, you guys will also be able to change the mode. From here, basically, I will just click on OK. So this is how it actually looks right now. So now if you want to come here, if you want to change the color of this text over here as well, we will also be able to change the color from the color overlay option. And from the color overlay, let's take up a different color. So let's go with something in light color. Okay. And now I'll click on OK. And if I do want to add any kind of strokes, in that case, again, I will come double click on this option. Otherwise, I'll just click right over here, go to the stroke option, and from here, basically, I can just increase the stroke quite like this. And what I can do is I can select. So now here again, I will come here onto the fill type and I'll just put up some colors. And what you can do is you can come here and basically you will be able to select colors from here as well. Okay. So if you click onto the color option, you guys just click on OK right over here. And what you can also do is come here onto this option, double click right over here. Let's double click onto this one and now come to this stroke over here. And now let me just decrease uh, the stroke size from here. Okay, and let's change the color to black. Okay, so I will just come here and I'll just take a color of black. So now this one looks better. So here you guys can see now I do have my logo ready right over here, as you guys can see. So this particular logo is now basically ready, as you guys can see. If you want to make any changes, okay, suppose if you want to come over here, if you want to take the ellipse tool, okay, so let's come on here on top. So let's take a new layer. Okay, so once I'm here in my new layer, I am going to make some shapes. Okay, so I'm going to take this particular shape right from here and I'll just give this thing a black color. So let's keep this black shape right over here. If you want to increase the size, click on shift. You guys can increase the size from here as well. Okay, and the next thing, if you want to do the other things, if you want to create any more shapes like that, if you want to take those things right over here, come to this option. And what you can do is you guys can come here onto the select option, and from select option you guys can basically select the modify option. So first off, right click and you guys can just rasterize this layer. Okay, so I will just rasterize the layer, go to select option, And from here, if you want to mask this part, you guys will also be able to mask this part over here as well. So now from here, I will take my direct selection tool. So let's come here and let's take the direct selection tool from here, like quick selection tool. Let's select this particular part. And what you want to do is now you want to just move it around. Okay, so let me just move it around right over here. If I want to increase the size, I will increase the size quite like this. Okay, let's place it right over here. And what you can do right now is you guys go to the select option. Let's click on OK from here. Let's go to select option, modify, go to expand, and just click on OK over here. And now just come to this first shape. And from this shape, what you can do is you can just click onto the delete option. Okay, so just come over here, and now if you just click on a delete option, so from here, I can now select this and cut it out. Okay. Otherwise, there are other ways. I will just click on Control D to deselect. Let's select this particular layer. I will just click on OK. Let's go to this particular ellipse tool right over here and just double click onto this icon over here. Okay, and it will take you to this overlay page. Go to the stroke number 2. Okay, and from here what you can do is you can just get this up a white color. Okay, so just give this thing a white color, and what you can do is if you want to increase it, you guys will be able to increase the stroke from here as well. If I just click on OK, so here as you guys can see, now I will also be able to see some white stroke around it. So I will come here again, go to uh, this one, just double click over here. You will get the layer style option. Let's on this one over here as well. Okay, so once I have activated this one right over here as well, let's go to the first stroke line over here. Let's go to the colors. Okay, and let's take up a white color. Okay, so I will just click on OK. So here you guys can see now I do have this white color, and now I'll click on OK. And here now you guys can see this is the logo which I do have designed. So now you, this can be used for a company t-shirt or any logo, like if you do have a team for that. Okay, sometimes you do need it for a company and all. So what you can do is you can come here and you can just place it accordingly the way you want. Okay, so let me just keep this thing right over here, and this looks quite great. If you want to deselect, you guys can come here and maybe deselect this part. Okay, let's go to a different shape. Okay, different layers over here, and now you guys can just group all this thing up. Like if you want to merge all of this, you guys will be able to merge all these things out from here as well. Okay, so now I will just go to Control Shift Alt and S. Okay. So here now you guys can see if I just zoom out. So this is the logo right over here. If you want to move it up, you guys can check how it will actually look. Okay. If you want to see that thing in a black color, okay, like into a black color background, in that case, how it will look here as well. Okay, so in this case, if I do want to change the color, okay, so I will also be able to change the color from here. Let's go to color overlay, and from color overlay, I will be able to choose some different colors. So let's take this color and let's click on OK. And I'll just click on OK over here as well. So now I will just come right over here onto the background page. And here I will just create a solid layer background. So let's take a dark color, and this is how your logo will look when you are printing it on a black t-shirt. Okay, but the same way, if you are printing it on a white t-shirt, this is how it's going to look. Okay, so you guys can just print it anywhere. It can be on the chest. Okay, it can be in the middle of the t-shirt, it can be on the back side of the t-shirt, depends on the need and like how you want to design that. So hope to see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye everyone. I hope you guys have understood this class on Photoshop of how to do your t-shirt designing. Hello guys, so this is the time for our class project and this is the class project 2 where we'll be making a basic text t-shirt in Photoshop. Okay, so first off I'll be showing you guys how you will be able to do that from Photoshop. I'll be showing you guys each and every steps, what all you need to follow, and after that I'll also show you guys how to do that in the Photoshop itself. We'll be learning all of this here in this particular chapter. So let's move on to the steps, what all we need to follow. So here on my screen, as you guys can see, now I do have the name of the class project as making a basic t-shirt in Photoshop. Okay. And after that, I also do have a description. So it says creating a basic t-shirt design in Photoshop is pretty straightforward. You can explore and experiment with various tools, effects, techniques in Photoshop to make your text design more creative and unique. So let's go on to the steps. So the first step will be creating a new document. Step 2, make a new solid layer with the adjustment layer option. Step 3, take new layer and add text in it. Adjust the color and stroke of all the layers from the layer panel. Make changes from the blending option. Save the file and upload it in our project panel. So the outcome will be creating a basic text t-shirt design in Photoshop can yield various outcomes depending on your design choices. The outcome ultimately depends on your creativity, design preferences, and the specific message or style you want to convey through your t-shirt. Photoshop offers a wide range of tools and options to achieve diverse outcomes and allowing you to create a design that suits your vision best. Okay, so now we'll move on to the step like in our Photoshop application where I'll be showing you how you will be able to implement all these steps and get your result accordingly. So here, as you guys can see, now I'm here in the home page of the Adobe Photoshop. So now here I will click onto the new file option and from here I will just name this one as class project class project 2 and now I'll create up a new document. So here the first thing will be I'll be taking one adjustment layer. So I will be choosing on the color in which I'm going to make the design and I'll just click on OK. Afterwards, again, what I'll do, I will take another new layer. Okay, so from this layer option, I'll take a new layer. Okay, and now I'll just put up my text right over here. Click on the backspace option and now just type. Okay, so run. I have typed run over here and now what you can do is using the selection tool, select this text, select Ctrl T, and after that you guys will be able to increase the size. Okay, so now what I can do is I can again come here, take this selection tool, and from here now I will just click on Alt and now I'll just duplicate this one. So once I have duplicated this one, once I do have the copy right over here, what I can do is I can come here, I will just click onto the backspace option and after that I will just write for, I will just off on the caps lock and I will just run for and now again I will just click on to commit. Okay, and once you're done committing right over here, click on Alt again and just drag and drop over here. Okay, so now I will just first come to this one right over here and with your text tool come here and just select this particular part, click on backspace to delete. Okay, so run for, I will just write your, and lastly, I will select this one right over here, and I will just delete this one, and now I will type life. Okay, so I will just type life right over here, and what I can do is I will just select all of this layer, and once I've selected all this layer, I can basically do some alignments over here as well. Okay, so I'll just click on control, select this background layer over here as well. Okay, go to the windows, and from here you guys will be able to view these things right over here. Okay, so there are layer options. Okay, you guys can select this one if you want to align it to the right. Let's align it here in the center. Okay, and once I've selected all this part here, you guys can see the alignment, and also I want to align it quite well. So now with this selection tool, I'll just select outside to deselect. Okay, so let's bring this part, and what you can do is you guys can come here and just move it up quite easily. So I will just select selection tool. If I want to move it up, I will just move it up right from here. Okay, so now once I have done with this one, I will again click on to this and select all of it, click on Control E. Okay, and here I have just copied this particular layer. Okay, and once I've done this one, what I'll do is I will just click on Control J. Okay, so here once I have clicked on Control J, here basically you guys can see I do have the copy of this one here in another panel. Okay, so first of all, I will just off this panel for right now. Okay, I will just keep only this panel open, like which is basically visible. So from here, what I'll do is I will come onto this option and I'll double click over here into this particular icon. Okay, so once I double click, I do have the layer style. So under the layer style, what I can do is I can come here and I can just put on strokes. Okay, so I will just give this a stroke of 10. Okay, so here you guys can see I do have a stroke of 10 right over here, and what I can do is I can click on to the OK option. Okay, so now once I have clicked that particular part, now the next thing what I'm going to do is I am going to make this one quite visible. Okay, so here you guys can see now this part is quite visible right over here. And if I just come here again back at the same layer, now let's select this one, and what you can do is you can just decrease the fill totally. Okay, so once you have decreased the fill right over here, what I can do over here is I will just take another box right over here into this particular place. Okay, so let's take up this particular shape tool. So from shape tool, I'll select the line tool right from here. And as you guys can see in this line tool, what I'm going to do is I am going to create a line. Okay, so I will just create a line kind of like this. And now with this selection tool, I will also be able to move this one quite over here. And if you want to increase the size of the stroke, in that case, just double click right over here. And if you want to come here, let's go to these blending options. So okay, you guys will also be able to access all the blending options right from here you guys can see. So if I just come here onto stroke, and I will just give this thing up a different color. So let me come here and let me give this one a black color. Okay, otherwise something in red, and I will just click on OK and OK over here as well. And if I will come onto this option, right click and I will just click on to rasterizing the layer. Okay, so I have just rasterized this particular layer over here as well. So what you can do is you can just bring this thing up right over here. And what you can do is, suppose I want to just delete this part. So for that, here you guys can see I do have a tool called the lasso tool. So I will take the polygonal lasso tool, and now I will just select this particular part. Okay, so let me just select this particular part right over here, and let's just select this part. And what you can do is you guys can just click on to the delete option. Okay, so from here, once I am over to this stroke panel, I will come to this panel and I will just delete this particular part. Control D to deselect. Okay, and now I don't have this particular part. But here, if I just on this layer right over here, here also you guys can see I do have only this part right over here. So now here, okay, again, I will just come back, and instead of here in this option, what I'll do is I'll come to this one, and from here, basically, I will try to click on delete. But before that, let's go back. Okay, so let's come back right over here, and let's create some different lines. Okay, so let's create some line right over here. Okay, so I will just create a line quite like this. And instead of stroke here as well, okay, I will also change the width. So let me just take 10 and just click onto the enter option. And also here you guys can see the path thickness. But for now, I don't want to use this as a path. Okay, so I will just take 15, and yeah, 15 looks quite great, not that bad. And after that, I will just on this particular layer over here as well. And once I'm over here onto this layer, take my lasso tool. And what I can do is I will just come over here, and from here, I will select the lasso tool quite over here, come to this option, and now just join this path right over here. Okay, so now once I'm here in this particular part, now I can just click on to delete option. And once I have clicked on the delete option, what I can do is I can click on Control D to deselect. So here you guys can see the design which I do have right over here. And from this particular line option, if I do wanna decrease the size of the line, okay, I will also be able to decrease the size of the line from here as well. Okay, so from this side as well, okay, if you want to decrease the size, you guys can come here and basically decrease the size. And if you don't want this one at all, you guys can come here and just delete it right away. Okay, so you guys can come here to this particular option and click onto the delete option. And here now you guys can see now I do have this particular design right over here. If you want to readjust its positioning, you guys can readjust its positioning from here as well. You guys can check how it basically looks right now. Okay, so you guys can come here and check the positioning quite like this. If you want to see how it will actually look in other t-shirt and all, so for that you guys can come here, double click onto this option, and just go to this part and just click on OK. So here you guys can see this is how your text will look like into your t-shirt. If you want to save it up, Control Shift Alt and S. Okay, so just save this design up. If you want to see it, you guys can come here and see this one. And now you want to save this as a PNG, come here, click onto the save option, and from the save option go to the desktop, and from desktop you guys go to this particular resource file for the Photoshop. So I will just come here, go to Photoshop, and from here I will just save it as an image. And after that, I will just click onto the save option, and this file is being saved as a PNG. But at the same time, if you want to save this as a PSD file that you want to work later on, you guys can come here, go to that particular page and save it quite like this. Then you will be able to get all these layers and each and everything later. Like you will be able to make some changes over there as well. So hope you guys have understood this class. So hope to see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye everyone.